I do this map to 270 on the show. I told the folks I'm probably going to do it again the next week or so, right? We go state by state and we literally fill in west to east, north to south, every state. But, I keep saying Biden by default. I got to fix this. Harris, Trump. I can come up with a scenario, and I think for real that if Harris were to take that whole blue wall, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, but lose Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, I can get you to a 269 tie. I think the reason that your race matters so much is because right now every state gets a vote. California gets 1 vote. Montana gets a vote. Rhode Island gets a vote. Florida gets a vote. And it's by how your congressional district is made up. You would be the congressional district, right? And so it's a big deal. Right now, Nebraska's vote would go for Kamala Harris. Alaska's vote would go for Kamala Harris. You would put that vote for Donald Trump. Do the people, when you talk to them, and is that ever something that comes up? Or is it like, hey, we care about water rights and mineral rights and federal grants, et cetera? I mean, does that ever come up? Or is that just guys like me that are political dorks?
Well, it does come up from time to time. It hasn't been a major issue in the campaign to date, but I think perhaps as we get closer to November 5th, it's going to elevate in its importance, and certainly it is important. Alaska is a red state. We voted for Donald Trump by around 10 points in 2020. I would imagine that we're going to do the same or even more in 2024. And so we're a red state. We shouldn't be represented by a leftist Democrat as we are today. And so at the end of the day, us being represented in a vote like that, a 269 tie, will be crucial for ensuring that Donald Trump returns to the presidency and helps make this country great again. And that is one of the many reasons why this race is very important, not just to Alaskans, but to people across the country. If you care about getting Donald Trump elected, you should care about the Alaska congressional race. And
I'm telling you, that's why I've been talking this up. I think that this is the race that if you pull this off on election night, which I think you will, just to be clear, that it's an insurance policy that if this goes to the House, that your vote goes for Trump, right? I cannot stress enough that you're absolutely this is a key race for that reason. Donald Trump could be president again because of your vote, and Alaska could put him over the top.
That's absolutely true, and it's absolutely critical. Alaska brings a lot to the table. We've not had an opportunity to bring this to the table in the future, but I'm 100%.
Hopefully we won't need it.
Hopefully not. Hopefully it's a large margin of victory,
right,
in the Electoral College for President Trump. But I've been a strong supporter of President Trump since his initial run in 2016. I was proud to go to his inauguration in 2017 and be among those who were celebrating, his beginning presidency. And look, I think that we need him. We need Donald Trump in office. There's so many things that are going wrong in our nation right now. Everything from the woke ideology to the war on energy and minerals development domestically. Alaska has a role to play in our nation. As we pivot these supply chains out of China and reestablish them in either friendshoring locations or domestic locations, Alaska needs to be more than just part of that conversation. We need to be central to that strategy. And Alaska
he always talks about this. Whenever I'm with, he loves to tell the Anwar story about how important that is to drilling, but important to Alaska. And he loves to talk about the fact that he got it done. You're absolutely right.
He did. He got it done. That's something that our delegation, our congressional delegation, had been working on for more than 40 years. And President Trump was able to get that done. The 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, we were able to ensure that there were 2 lease sales in the 1002 area of Anwar. Tremendous oil and gas potential there, and in the National Petroleum Reserve Alaska, NPRA as we call it. There are more estimated undiscovered oil and gas deposits in Alaska than any other state in the country.
Does your opponent, where does she come down on this?
Very mixed record. Some days she'll be for it, other days she'll be against it. She's missed crucial votes in the House. Honestly, she was quoted in the Anchorage Daily News up here as saying that she had to use the restroom during a crucial vote. She thought the votes were over. She's coming up with a lot of excuses for why she hasn't supported Alaska mineral development. In fact, Representative Pete Stauber, he's a representative out of Minnesota, put forward a bill called the Alaska's Right to Produce Act that would push back against so many of these Biden executive orders targeting our state. She supported it in committee. When it hit the House floor, she sent a dear colleague letter to all of her Democrat colleagues, actually urging them to vote no on her own co-sponsored bill. And when it came up for a vote, she didn't vote yes, and she actually didn't vote no. She voted present.
What? That is so weak.
Unbelievable, gutless
First of all,
move.
I got to say, Nick, I've been in politics for 30 years. I've never heard anyone use, I was in the bathroom. I've heard a lot of crazy, like I didn't vote because, but I was in the bathroom. It's a 17-minute vote that usually gets held open. I don't even want to go there with asking, what the heck were you doing for that long? But I mean, that is so weak. It's unbelievable.
Terrible. And this is, look, at the end of the day, she's on the wrong side of the aisle. She's trying to represent a resource state, and Alaska's America's greatest resource state. But she's a Democrat at the end of the day. And the Democrats are only going to let her go so far. If we want to unlock the true potential of Alaska for the benefit of the people of my state and our entire nation, we need a Republican in office. I'm the one Republican standing in this race, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to represent our state down in D.C.
When I look at the statistics of Alaska, it says that 57% are unaffiliated. Are these conservatives that just don't want to be Republicans, or are they truly like independents?
The misnomer is that typically Republicans represent the right, Democrats represent the left, and independents are people in the middle. But in Alaska, the truth of the matter is we have a lot of folks who are more conservative than the average Republican, and they identify as independents. And so you really got to look at political ideology, self-described conservative, moderate, and progressive, in order to figure out really where is the political center of gravity in Alaska. And I think that the best way to sort of measure that right now is where has the Trump vote gone? And you see Trump won our state in 2016 handily, won our state in 2020 handily, will win again in 2024 handily. And I think that tells you where the preponderance of that independent vote ends up going. It comes to our side of the aisle.
Oh, that's fantastic. If people really want to help you or stay in touch with your race, where do they go?
Look, AlaskansForNickBegich.com is our website. There's some great information out there about our policy positions, but certainly we've got in that battle for money. You've got Act Blue out there with this incredible army of people who just go out there and donate $5 at a time to all these candidates. We've got to have the same level of support. Small dollar donors, every bit counts. AlaskansForNickBegich.com is the website. Very active X page, very active Facebook page and Instagram. So if you're on one of those social media platforms, go out and find us at Nick for Alaska is our handle out there. Look, get involved in the conversation. As I mentioned earlier, this is your country. It belongs to you, but it only belongs to you if you show up and vote. So make sure you're voting. Make sure the people around you are voting. Friends, relatives, colleagues, neighbors. Get the word out, right? Because the political figures that are out here, people who are doing what I'm doing, are making the case to Americans, to people in our congressional districts. Yep. But we're relying on the people who are listening to this broadcast and others to go out and do that grassroots work that's going to make sure that we come out victorious in November.
All right. Well, as I said, you are our insurance policy in case this thing comes down to the Electoral College tie and it gets thrown to the House. Nick, I wish you all the best. Stay in touch with us, and I'm looking forward to seeing you put that back in the Republican column on election night. Thanks for being with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Sean.
Well, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get more.